move on then from the Merseyside derby, and we will travel down the, is it M1 or M2, to London, and talk about particularly Chelsea, Spurs and Arsenal's respective results this weekend. The first one of those, I guess, was Chelsea on Saturday, the game that followed the 2-2 draw between Everton and Liverpool. This game, Chelsea got off to an amazing start. Were they 3-0? Was it 3-0?
No, it was 2-0.
Yeah, Timo Werner got the first 2 goals. Okay. What happened in this game? Did anyone catch this game live? I think this was one of the paid matches. This was the first 14.95 game of the weekend. All right, so no one saw it live, but I was tracking the goals. I saw these, both Werner's goals were pretty good. One of them was kind of marginal handball, I think, the one where he chipped it over the goalie. But yeah, they end up drawing 3-3 at home. It's a shame John Aldinho's not here to defend his Blues or lay into them. He may, but what's wrong with Chelsea is there's some defensive frailties in Frank Lampard's team. Levi, we'll take something from you on this one.
I just think it says it all about a club like Chelsea. I think they got a bit too excited in the transfer window. They got excited in the transfer window. They had the transfer ban implemented, and they brought in a granddad in Thiago Silva to come and play a young man's game. And I just think their defensive frailties will never be cleared up until they actually sign and implement a solid back four that are not past their best. Quite frankly, Azpilicueta's getting on. He's coming onto his last legs. Thiago Silva's coming onto his last legs. Let's freshen it. Chelsea should freshen it up and have a back four that they know that they can rely on week in, week out. They don't have that. They've got no consistency, and yeah, that's Chelsea's issue. I think I should manage, really.
I wouldn't go that far.
You know what I mean?
I wouldn't go that far.
John Aldinho's in the chat, and he reckons that Lampard doesn't know how to tactically coach defending. And he also got a player that Liverpool were trying to get in. He's firing a shot at Levi and Tom, to be fair.
Shock.
I agree with the point about Lampard. I think that I don't really rate him that much. There's not really a lot to go on with him.
He's always like, he is coaching like how I would coach my under-12s. It's kind of like, you kind of set up the defense, but because they're kids, you don't give them much information. And every game is like 5-4, 3-2. Do you know what I mean? Because it's just about them going out there and having fun. It's almost like he says, all right, lads, just go out there and have fun. Because they're trying to score a load of goals. But yeah, like Levi said, defensively, they've got no structure. It's just a bit crazy. I don't know why Reece James isn't starting. Week in, week out. Like,
he's still young though, you know what I mean? He's still a kid, Reece James. You can't play him week in, week out. You gotta let him play a couple games, then come back out the team.
Azpilicueta was shown, especially through lockdown, like he aged over the lockdown.
Unreal.
I know the feeling.
Beefy, I'm not sure if I agree with that point of resting Reece James, because I think if Liverpool had taken that stance with Alexander Arnold, then he wouldn't have been the player that he is now. Yeah. I think it's really like trying to pinpoint when the players. It's about man management, really, knowing your players. And quite frankly, the issue I have with Frank Lampard is that I think he's gone a bit too big for his boots too early. He hasn't won anything. He hasn't really done much, but he thinks that top four finish last season was a trophy win, and he's getting in arguments with every manager on the touchline, whether it's managers who made him in Mourinho or whether it's managers who have achieved 10 times what he has done in Klopp. I just think Lampard needs to actually relax and get back to the basics and actually manage the team, because I think what we're doing as well is we're taking a lot away from Southampton, who I think had a brilliant second half.
Yeah.
And I think one of the players that should be given a lot of praise was actually Theo Walcott, because
Theo,
for me, in that whole game, he was the outstanding performer. He was almost involved in every good thing that Southampton had to do, and ultimately he was involved in the third goal that clinched them the draw. But Lampard is an issue at Chelsea, and I don't see him, if things don't change, surviving until the end of the season.
I agree. Actually, I think the dream will die, and I can't wait for it to happen for Chelsea.
They spent a lot of money. I mean, they got some world-class players. I just think a better manager would just get them to just gel a lot more quicker. You know, get them. I mean, they got Havertz. They got Werner. They're attacking. Kante's still in there. Like they're attacking players. You know, and you've got Chilwell on one flank, and Reece James on the other. I mean, the centre backs. Yeah, they probably should. You know, play some other centre backs, but. Yeah, outside of that, I mean, their goalkeeper's dodgy as hell, isn't he? But I just think.
Did the new guy get injured? Mendy, is he?
Yeah.
He's out injured already.
Yeah.
Did he pick that up on international duty, or was that in Chelsea training or something, or was it in a game?
I think it was Chelsea training. I think I heard.
Right.
It was in training.
Nah, Pickford clattered him.
Turned up outside his house, just 2-footed him through the letterbox. All right, Tom. Last thoughts then on Lampard.
Yeah, I think Lampard gets a bit of an easy ride because he's got his cousin on Sky Sports every weekend. Not like saying anything bad about him. Obviously, you know, everyone knows his dad in the media as well. He's like, you know, not that he's managing now, but don't want to upset him just in case he's like QPR manager down the road or something, and you need a scoop off him.
Wait, his cousin's dad or his dad?
No, his cousin, so, obviously Redknapp, and then his uncle, like John Aldinho said, like they probably didn't expect to sign Werner this summer, and then suddenly became available because Liverpool decided not to sign him. And that's not me like bigging up like, oh, you know, he would never be there if it wasn't for Liverpool not wanting him, but that seems to have been what happened. And that's probably skewed their business a bit too much towards the attacking sense, and they've not. And then at the last minute, they've sort of again had a look and thought, "Oh, Thiago Silva's available." Kind of, this is a bit niche, but it kind of reminds me of when Liverpool were going in 2005. They signed Pellegrino from Valencia, and he'd been in 2 Champions League finals, and he'd like won the La Liga with Valencia as well. But he was like, in terms of on the pitch, completely past his best, but he was a decent dressing room presence.
Yeah.
The thing is, Chelsea needed someone who was decent on the pitch too. So, you know, the jury's still out on him. He might still have it for the Premier League, but to be honest, they needed someone who was a guarantee for that position because that's their huge weakness. And in terms of definitely set pieces, obviously none of the defense trust Kepa. They've kind of, you know, we'll see what Mendy's like. They've kind of addressed that a little bit. But set pieces, they're absolutely diabolical. And they need someone to sort that out at the back. And yeah, Thiago might be that guy. But I think it kind of stems back from them signing Werner, which kind of fell into their lap. It skewed their business. And they'll probably, it suddenly seems like Abramovich has his interests kind of over the last couple of transfer windows or past couple of seasons, there's been some doubts about whether his heart's still in it. But obviously this summer, that's kind of blown that theory out the water. And so we'll see if they get to January, they're still in a sort of top 4 race. I can see them spending even more. Yeah. Because at the moment, they're obviously not the finished product.
Yeah. Sorry, John. You
just say really quick.
Oh no,
quickly about. We've spoken a lot about Chelsea. But not so much about Southampton. And there's probably one player that I want to pick out as well in Che Adams, and I think Ralph Hasenhüttl has done really well at managing Che Adams. He came into the team with high expectations, and he'd never quite hit the ground running. And I think he's now starting to repay the manager's faith and actually starting to crop up in brilliant hold-up play. Bringing in Ings really well, and as you saw, brilliant assist as well for Ings' goal. And I just think he's going to be one to watch going forward now. That will really actually link up quite well with the likes of Theo Walcott and Danny Ings, and actually start seeing the best of what Che Adams has to offer. Because I think him, Walcott, and Ings really are driving forces behind that comeback against Chelsea.
Yep. No, completely agree. we're getting on for time. Greg, you're probably happy about that because there's less time to talk about Spurs. What happened this weekend? That was going very well, and then suddenly it all blew up.
That's football, baby.
Yeah,
that's football. I think if ever there was a time to expect like an outcome like that, it would be this season. Like the season's just mental. The result, it doesn't surprise me. We played brilliantly for the first half an hour, brilliant football, but West Ham looked keen. We didn't kill them. We didn't kill the game off. And, we've seen Jose talk about that a lot. And we took the foot off the gas. And, credit to West Ham. Like no one can tell me that their goalkeeper stops that last goal. It was brilliant. We took a foot off the gas. I mean, it highlights the issues that we have defensively. It doesn't take away any of the attacking force we have. It's still brilliant, but that defence needs work. Sanchez, Harry Winks, they're boys. We need men at the back, really, to be able to take charge and stop that kind of thing from happening. I think, personally, I feel sorry for Bale more than anything. I mean, I can't. This is an emotional moment for me to see him back in the shirt. Let me have that moment. But it puts a massive black mark on his second debut, and he should have been putting that goal away when it could have gone to 4-2.
Yeah.
He needs to put it away. There's no question. I can't defend him on that. But I think the response is going to be more important. Let West Ham have their cup final. Let them have the moment because we're going to have plenty more this season. And if any man is going to rally the team, I think Jose's got this, and I think it highlights the error. And we know where to move forward. So it happens.
I think it says a lot about where the Premier League is at in terms of the standard that there's three teams this weekend, and none of them are maybe Man City. You throw into that as well as a title contender. 3 teams that have had a draw this weekend, and it's kind of end of the world result really. In Chelsea, Spurs, and Liverpool. The Premier League really is a you must win. Every week now, the standard is that high, and the points tallies at the end have been so high of the last couple of seasons. Arsenal. Let's talk about Arsenal. Oh, actually, last point was how were people kind of impressed with Gareth Bale for starters? Do you think he showed kind of glimpses that he's still kind of superstar Gareth Bale, or do we think?
I mean, I was impressed with his skill. We got obviously to get in that position. He had some good touches, but I will say there was a counter attack, and he looked like he was putting on the gas, and it looked like he's lost a couple of yards, and that could be just age, or it could just be that he hasn't played consistently for a while. But I'll be definitely looking for the next Spurs game to see, because obviously Spurs play really good counter attacking football, and I'm sure he'll start. I'll be definitely looking out for that, because he definitely looked a little bit slower than I'm used to seeing him in a Spurs shirt and a Real Madrid shirt, for sure.
Yeah. He's definitely, I mean, in his first interview, he admitted that he's lost a little bit of pace since he was last here. And I think because he is just fresh off of an injury, there might be a little bit of... so he might just be a little bit tentative with it. But yeah, no, I think you're right. I think in the next couple of games, we'll definitely see him flourish.
Does he start the next game, Greg?
I hope so, because Bergwijn was pretty poor. I've seen him play a lot better. He sort of fell out. And I think Lamella is not, he's got an injury. So this Thursday, maybe even we might see Bale start, but I don't know, we'll see.
Who's your next game?
It's a Europa League fixture.
Linz, ASK, whoever they are.
Can we just really quickly not let Greg get away with his comment that he made yesterday at 3-0, saying that Tottenham were going to win the league? There's no way I'm letting you get away with that. There's no way.
Look, football at the moment, you can't not. This is the VAR discussion. You can't not celebrate these things. If we score, we're jumping up. That's what's happening. We're winning the lot. You know what I mean? I still stand by it. We can. That's the point. You got to enjoy it, man.
Spurs.
It's a draw. It's a draw. We can survive it. If it was 4-3, my camera would be on the other side of the fucking room, mate.
It's just Spurs being Spurs. That's what it is. Spurs just being Spurs.
22.
Did you see that clip going around of the Tottenham fan TV saying Spurs? Spurs are back. I don't know what back is.
Yeah.
Apparently, we were back at 3-0 up.
22 goals scored in the last 3 games that Spurs have played. That's a 7-2, a 6-1, and a 3-0. So
Jesus.
there's certainly value for money. Quick throwback to last week as well with the 1495 games. And talking of goals scored, the early game today, Burnley and West Brom played out to all of those paying viewers as a 0-0. Unexpected 0-0 there. We thought that would be an absolute blockbuster. And an update just coming into half time on the Leeds Wolves game is 0-0. So we'll be looking forward to the second half of that. So far, 135 minutes played of Monday Night Football and not a single goal. That brings us on to then the last there's other London clubs we can talk about. There's other London clubs I could talk about, but it's not even worth it on this show. Yet. We'll wait till we got at least 3 points before we'll talk about them. So Arsenal took on Man City. Boofy, I know you watched this one. You're excited, and John Miller, you were watching this as well.
Yep.
How'd it play out?
Go on, Booth.
You know what? I'm not disappointed by the performance. I think we played very well. I was disappointed by the result because I feel like Man City were there for the taking. They're still about 2 weeks behind everyone else in terms of match fitness and stuff. So they're there for the taking. And we had some opportunities to score a goal, but just wouldn't get in the back of the net. Anytime we got in behind City, Edison was there, or the final pass wasn't quite there. So not much you can say. You know what I mean? Like, it was a good game to watch, to be honest, but we're just not clicking in the final third yet, if I'm being honest, to be honest. Yeah.
I'm a little bit. I'm not massively disappointed in the result. I mean, in the performance, but I am a bit disappointed because I feel like with no De Bruyne, and you know the way, like Boofy said, they're not firing all cylinders at the moment. You saw the way how Leicester dealt with them. You saw the way how Leeds really pushed them close and got a draw. I think a draw or a win was in Arsenal's hands. I just think that he hasn't got it wrong a lot, and you can't complain. We won the FA Cup and stuff. We got into Europa League when it looked like when he took over that we were just so far away from that. But I think he made a mistake. I think he got his selection wrong. I think Thomas Partey should have started. You could see when he came on, he was driving through the midfield with pace. He wasn't looking to pass the ball sideways. And I think without De Bruyne in there and stuff, I think if he started Thomas Partey, I don't know why he didn't start him. It's not
you can understand though.
He's been playing.
Yeah, but he's just come back from Africa with Ghana. His first session was on Thursday with us. They travelled up Friday night, so he had one session with the boys. And he's come out, he's flown all the way from Ghana. That's not a short flight, you know what I mean? So I understand why he didn't start.
I mean, he's in the squad, right? So he's on the bench. So I mean, at least give him 20 minutes. You gave him 8
I know. Yeah,
minutes. Like you'd have given him at least 20 minutes. Also, as well, it's also the psychological thing. He's a big player. He's a big signing. He's a player that Arsenal wanted. It was talked about. We don't know what that could have psychologically done for Arsenal, but also for Man City. It's not like they play against him week in, week out, and they know what he's about. They could have maybe retreated a little bit, maybe approached things slightly differently. I just think it was just a missed opportunity. I think at least throw him on after 65 minutes. Really, if he's fit enough to be on the squad and even get on for 8 minutes, he's definitely fit enough for 20, in my opinion. And I think that was just a little bit of a mistake. I just think he had a little bit of a Wenger about him, Arteta, just reacting too late. I definitely think that game was there for the taking, especially in the last sort of 20 minutes or so. I think we should have really gone for it, took a leaf out of Leeds' book, and just really gone for the throat. Because I can see Man City taking a few beatings throughout the rest of the season from unexpected teams going forward. And I just think Arsenal were too tentative. They gave him too much respect. I think maybe it was a psychological thing where we haven't beaten a top 6 team in like 29 games or something like that. There's definitely a psychological thing there with that. But I just think he should have just gone for it, man. If it was me, I would have just threw everyone forward and said, look, you're losing 1-0. Like, if you lose 2-1, no one, or 2-0, no one was expecting you to win anyway. You might as well just gone for it and really, really put them under pressure. And I think we missed the opportunity.
Yeah. Tom, would you have started Thomas Partey?
I think it's one of those things where like it's hard to criticize unless you've like, spent the training session with him, been behind the scenes. I can definitely, obviously, from our point of view and from an Arsenal fans point of view, you want to see like a new signing play. And, having lost as well, you got the frustration, but you just don't know, like he might have literally just said, I'm not ready. You just don't know. Obviously, like the way he played when he came on kind of suggests maybe he would have been ready, but again, like 90 minutes, you don't want to take
as well.
Yeah, you don't want to take that risk with a player who like you might have to bring off a half time, and then you've lost one. I know you've got more subs obviously this season, but you lost one of your subs. Your game plan's a bit skew, and when you're playing City, like the game plan is everything. Like you've been spending the whole 2 weeks like preparing the tactics and how he's going to play. So, it's one game, and it's probably as frustrating for you guys that having when he's come on, he's done well. I think, oh, why couldn't we've had 90 minutes of that? But yeah, it's just one of those.